What up? Welcome to Homegrown Hustle, where local brilliance takes the center stage. I'm your host, Matt Eickman. Join us every week in celebrating innovation, guidance, and the power to inspire greatness. Let's explore the stories that shape our local business landscape, and together, let's ignite the spark of excellence.
What's up, everybody? We're here with another episode of the Homegrown Hustle. I told you he's coming back on. Here he is. Dr. Brad, thanks for coming back out to the studio. We've got a couple exciting things we're going to talk about, but overall, we're really just talking about business modeling and the business model canvas. So early on, I remember when I was taking over the company I'm running, I was under the impression I had to make a really big multi-page, complicated business plan because that's what I found on Google that I needed to do, right? Okay. So tell me why that's not a good idea.
Yeah, don't do that. don't do that. Entrepreneurs, first thing, go to Google or wherever and Google business model canvas. Pull it up. Just do it. Look at my screen here. I think Gemini is responding to me and pulling it up. Anyhow, it's just do it. Pull up the business model canvas by a guy named Osterwalder, I believe. And it's a simple one-page, comprehensive, holistic space where you can start putting in, what's happening with your business and get kind of a grip on it. That's all you need, especially as someone who's just starting a business. Like, don't do a business plan. By the time you finish it, it will be out of date and you will use maybe.
And how much time have you spent on the plan when you haven't, and you're not accomplishing stuff that whole time, right? And then by the time it's done, right, whatever that is, it's your business is already past wherever you were planning for.
Right.
So what I'm looking at here, I Googled the business model canvas. There's a couple different options. This one is off of Wikipedia. So we got key partners, key activities, value propositions, customer relationships, customer segments, key resources, channels, cost structure, and revenue streams. And there's questions under each of those. So could you kind of walk me through this business model canvas, just high level, and then I'll ask a couple questions like scenario wise, if that's all right with you.
Yeah. No, it's good. Yeah, I mean, the way to think about this is start with action. Don't go crazy with planning. Start with action. Take action on your business. First of all, those things that you're seeing that make sense, just proceed, do them. Affect things, right? Don't try to plan things so much because you're
affect or effect?
Effect. Effectuation is the fancy academic term that is
nice. I went to college. So.
Yeah, right. I know, right? But it's not cause and effect. It's not, again, hey, I've got a jigsaw puzzle. I'm putting together this picture that I think the future is going to be. We're not making jigsaw puzzles. We're making quilts, crazy quilts where you're just grabbing whatever's around, you're stitching it into this quilt, and you're looking at it going, okay, is this going to work? I don't know, but I'm going to keep getting these small commitments from people, making moves, stitching things together, and just checking it out and seeing, okay, is this working? So that's what we're doing.
What's interesting, I kind of thought about as you're saying that is like, how does one identify when something doesn't work? Like, because a lot of us, like, I guess what I'm thinking about, a lot of assumptions are, well, what if this doesn't work? But you can't actually identify that until you've done something.
Yeah, you have to make something first, right? So I would say it depends upon the circumstances. Here's an example is you and I have made a commitment to show up and do this show. We've made a commitment, right? A small commitment. We've had a little stitch together here, right? And if I don't show up, you don't show up, I'm like, meh, okay, that guy's not going to work, or I'm not going to work. I look for that because a lot of times, or that's why I advise startups with, because a lot of times it's a lot about relationships, right? Could be a relationship with a potential partner, a podcast. It could be a relationship with certain customers.
It's
all
like
that.
the human
it's
part
little
of it,
commitments.
though,
Yes,
right? Because that allows for all those other things to happen. This is one of the first things you introduced to me was the business model canvas. You talk about it in your classes, right?
Yeah.
So are we going left to right on this? Are we going like, how do you unpack
I would start
this?
right in the middle. Start right in the middle. And the middle rectangle is value proposition, which is a big fancy word to say to the left of the value proposition is your business. To the right, those 4 segments are your customers. So right in the middle is the value proposition. And all the value proposition is, it is the value that your business creates that the customers and market says, yes, we'll buy. That's what a value proposition is. And so you're building a company on the left side with those 4 left segments, and you're looking at your market or your customers on the right side, and you're just trying to match them. That's it. The value proposition.
What's the other way to do this? Like, this is like a quick and easy couple different questions. Like, is there like, this was the old school, how the banks want you to draw up a business model? Like whatever the heck I found way back, like where did that come from? Because it was like, it was a crazy, I want to say it was like 25 or 30 pages when I was at a score. Are you familiar with SCORE? I was at that and trying to finalize and put it together. And they're like, hold on. You already got a business going. Like, just keep, like, don't do that. Go back and start driving more sales and doing that.
Okay.
Is there an older school, like, style for like a really formal business model, or is that like a bigger type of business approach to it?
Well, it's a good question, Matt, because it is often what is taught in business schools, has been traditionally, maybe not so much anymore, but has been like, okay, it's, we got a plan, we've got finance over here, we've got marketing over there, we've got sales, we've got R&D, we've got whatever, all these different specific departments, and you need a plan that kind of brings it all together to some degree. But entrepreneurship is a different animal. It's not it's not Target, it's not Cargill, it's not, a big settled company. It's not made yet. Mostly it just starts out as a, story that you're telling, and you might not even have a product or a business or anything quite yet.
So what is entrepreneurship then?
It's a French word for, yes, it's a French word for, entre, which is basically to go out and get, to grab. I like the definition, which is to like go swim out and get.
Interesting.
Yeah. So that's etymology.
But as it exists,
I think that's more what you do. Yeah.
A little bit. Yeah. Okay. So that was funny. As it exists today, like you said, Cargill's not entrepreneurship. Like, is there a point where somebody who is an entrepreneur has grown their business past the like entrepreneurial business, and now it's like corporate, or like what are those type of stages? We're getting off track from the
well, that's all right.
Canvas here.
The business model canvas is a good kind of finger in the wind type of document. You print it off. I recommend
really easy
people
to find too.
Print it off and just write on it at your kitchen table and just go, okay, well, what are our resources? Let me see, what key resources do we have? Myself, I live in a house. I have some expertise around this certain thing, and I have these material, and okay, that's good enough. And then move to revenue streams. All right, what are customers going to pay for? My expertise, my my electrical expertise. I can go in, I can fit out a man cave in somebody's basement in a suburb, something like that. You just start making notes. Don't make it complicated. Don't overthink it. Just, kind of start making notes. And after a day or two of just making notes at your kitchen table or wherever you happen to be on this paper document, you kind of see like, oh, it's all there. And so it helps you sleep at night too. Right? Because, you're trying to think, how am I covering everything? And then you're trying to keep it in your head, or you're trying to do a big business plan, which is going to get you nowhere. In my opinion, it's just too much. Just put it here. Just put those things here, and it's out of your head. You'll sleep better.
And then what?
Well, to the question of, do you graduate from an entrepreneurial stage to, a scale up? Or, an enterprise or a, stable, mature business? Yes. And in that case, business planning, traditional business planning has more value, right? Because you've got, a lot more going on. And things aren't probably moving as quickly as they used to. It's called, what's the guy's name? Max Weber, this sociologist, calls it the law of the iron cage, is that
sounds pretty intense.
It is, I think he's German, is things get and departments get and people get very kind of separated into like these iron cages. Like, I'm an accountant and you're the sales guy over there.
Silos.
Silos. Yep. Yeah. And things get very structured that way. And it's just almost inevitable for big businesses.
Why does that happen?
You don't have to read Max Weber.
We'll get to Max Weber later, I guess. But as you're bringing in that many human beings, and like anytime we add a new role or we're growing a team, communication channels change. You have to redefine that sometimes, ensure that the new people know how the communication happens. But we're talking like 30 people at our company. Yeah. Like there's teams of 30 managed by one person at organizations out there, right? So I understand that all that kind of changes. Would you say, you threw a few terms out, scale up, enterprise, and then you said mature. Is there like revenue numbers or revenue qualities, or like, is it revenue modeling?
It can be. I mean, one, just kind of back to the point, like, why does this happen? Is that, big companies have to be kind of sort of stable, right? They have to have stability. So you can't make big, giant moves as quickly because it just breaks stuff after a while. Startups, it's about making big moves and shifting, and you got to break stuff, and things do break, and it's pretty inefficient, but
incredibly inefficient. I mean,
it is really inefficient.
We've wasted so much time doing stuff the wrong way, just to revert back to what we did before we changed it.
Yeah, that's normal.
But we still had success while we were doing it. It was just like we overcomplicated something, whether it's like a proposal process or something along those lines. Right. But some of that is the learning process, though, right?
Yep.
Like, and to your point originally, like you got to affect things. You have to go out and do stuff. And then there's like a point where you have to have the awareness to say, hey, that was and or was not a good decision. And that's where I see it kind of break down for people. They'll make a decision. I'm gonna increase my marketing spend. Okay, well, how long are you doing that for? What's the expectation? Whatever. And because they don't set some type of limitation on it, now after 2 months, when they're not getting the revenue back in whatever reality they thought they would, they're pissed and they cancel their plan for 2026 2 months in.
Sure. Yeah.
Like timelines around those big swooping changes are important. I think some of that comes out as you run through the business model canvas, right? Like the key activities, like this isn't going to give you like an operational plan on like you have to go call this many people and do that, but it can take you from zero business to like you can get going and do something, right?
Yeah.
Does this also help somebody like myself who's already in business, currently operating, or?
Absolutely. Okay. I mean, you could do with the business model canvas, just step away from your business, Matt, for a minute and just go through this and go like, okay, what are our key activities? What is really important for us to do? And just, okay, here's the production stuff. Here's the problems that, we're solving. Here are the things that we're using to do it. And these are key activities. And you just kind of look at it and go, oh, okay. It's a quick, easy way to have a fresh look at your a little bit more established business, in a holistic way, which is what you're it's kind of what you're normally doing as a CEO, as a leader of a small firm. You're just kind of balancing stuff, right? And you're going, okay.
Trying to at least.
Right. But this puts it in one place.
That makes sense. So when we're getting to things like cost structure, like that's a big one. I get asked a lot, like, well, how much should we charge? Right? What should I charge for it? Because like some people have no idea. So they just call XYZ company up the road that's a competitor. Well, they're charging this. So I'm going to charge a little bit more or a little bit less than that, whatever. Like, but that logic, I feel like, can you get to a price? Yeah, but we're missing a whole lot of like steps as far as like how to unpack that. So
I would say again, start with the value proposition. I mean, that's
all right. So let's do this.
There's no perfect answer for any of this. Yeah. So go ahead, take a look at some of what your customer or your competitors are doing. That's fine. But
I
talk
have
to your
spent no
customers.
time doing that. But what if you don't? So we've got customers.
Yeah.
So what if somebody doesn't have customers? Do they just ask anybody that might want to buy it?
Yeah. Start with talking to anybody. That's what you do. That is a key activity for people who are starting up a business. It's Business Model Canvas 101. It's what I teach in my class. My students are often a little surprised that one of the big activities they have is to go have customer discovery conversations. And it's not, not trying to sell anybody. You're just saying, hey, do you have this problem? Or does this problem, whatever it is, of interest to you? Let's say, whatever, say your business, like bugs or mice or pests or whatever. Do you have that problem? Yeah. Okay. Tell me a little bit. How does it make you feel? Like, oh, I don't like to go into the downstairs bathroom because there's spiders down there, blah, blah. All right. Oh, that's cool. And so, if you're thinking about that, does it affect your, affect your day-to-day life? Yeah, it's a terrible way to start the day. I don't like having to deal with it. Well, if somebody could take that off your hands, what might that be worth to you? You don't have to ask them a pricing question, but just kind of like, what it would be worth to you? Would it be worth $1 million? No. Would it be worth 6 months of your time if it was for free? No. I don't know. What do you think? What would it be worth? You just kind of play with them, and they'll say, I don't know. I mean, if somebody could come take care of this and it'd be $50, done. I would do it tomorrow. And you've got that as a data point then, right?
That's about what it would cost.
I got it right. I'm going
pretty
to
close, more or less around that per month.
So, and you have a couple of those conversations and you're like, oh, okay, this is what people who I've talked to described it not just as a technical problem, but like an emotional problem, like a social problem. Like we have guests over, they come to the downstairs bathroom and I'm embarrassed. Oh yeah, I didn't really thought of that. That's cool. Yeah, we could take care of that. You kind of get a sense of the emotional, the social, and the functional problem component, and then you get a basic pricing conversation going, but you're not trying to sell that person during that customer discovery. So my students, they talk to other students about their projects. Like, last semester I did 28 project teams, and all of them had different problems, and they all just talk to people. I'm like, I don't care who you talk to. Talk to your grandmother.
And I think that's important. Like, as you're talking, I was thinking, like, even if you're trying to sell something, like if you're trying to really sell something, those conversations are hard to have. Like Minnesota consumers they don't really want to be in like a sales conversation, right?
This is not a sales
They want to be
conversation.
educated and learn some stuff and try to figure that out, but they don't want to sit there and be like, my gosh, like I'm just trying to go finish making dinner so this guy will leave my doorstep, or
Right.
you know what I mean? So the sale is only a sale when you're in the entrepreneur or the salesman's position, right? Otherwise, it's just an inconvenience, right? Because they're trying to buy. The customer should be purchasing. They should be buying, not necessarily like getting in an instance where yes or no is the sale. But
right.
No is going to be circled back with some type of rebuttal or follow up,
Right.
or
Yeah,
like all
none
the
of that.
smoke and mirrors
Yeah.
and stuff. It's like, hey man, the sales process, although we do need to build them for the business to create efficiencies, like
Right.
it's important to understand how that comes across to the customer and like the whole process. That I feel like that topic is just a podcast in and of itself.
Yeah, you know, I'm going to say I've got a whole thing on customer discovery, how to do them, right? So that they aren't a big deal. The nice thing about Minnesota is Minnesota people are kind of standoffish, but they're also helpful. If you say, look,
That's true.
I'm early, I'm trying to figure out how to make this business go. I'm just looking for people who will talk to me for 5 minutes and help me out.
That goes to
Just
the
Little commitment. Yeah, just help me out, figure this out. Whatever your business is, what do you think? You know, this is what I think I'm
kind
doing.
of just like volley some thoughts back and forth.
Yeah.
Also kind of, because now what that's doing, I love it, is it's bringing new pieces of info and feedback into the thought process you already had. And now you can kind of triangulate or take a next step potentially. Would you say, I'm not even going to ask you, I think this is a more effective way of getting to next steps, like having those 5 to 10 minute conversations than reading 10 business books, or you can learn things that apply like directly to where you're at in a business when you talk to somebody.
Right.
And they might be wrong too, right? If they're not like further ahead in their business than you. But any type of feedback is good feedback as long as you think about it.
Yep. You know, and just to the topic of feedback is I have my students, I'm like, if they are okay with you recording the conversation, that's great. If they're not, just say, I'm going to take some notes. Like take notes on exactly what the customer says. Take not your paraphrasing of it, but exactly what they say. Like I, bleep and hate, spiders in my basement bathroom and, and make note of things like, and shuttered shoulders and grimaced. And you want to capture like the real reactions, not doesn't like spiders.
So you
don't want to write
like
that.
the emotional side of
the
things.
Emotional side. Yes. The physical, because you go back and you look at that and you go like, no, this guy, he was telling the truth. He wasn't just blowing me off. I could tell because he swore and he shuddered, he grimaced, and I could see him traveling in his mind to his basement and going, I hate that corner over by the shower. That's what you want. You want real stories from people's real reactions. Then you go like, that is the truth that I'm going to show up with in my marketing. I'm like, you hate those damn spiders, don't you? Period. Right?
That's actually really good.
Yeah,
we might use that.
Get there.
But so for pest control, at least within our industry, there's what about the fear mongering side of things, right? Like people in certain markets, there aren't bugs that can really hurt you here,
right?
But there are diseases you can get from rodents and stuff like that. So leaning into that and a misinformation around that almost could be something that I've always kind of treaded lightly, if you will, because that's something that, I don't know. I don't want anybody to think I'm trying to mislead them.
Right.
Especially when I'm not even if we put the marketing together and I send my team out there, now my team member has to go into a situation where that customer feels misled.
Right.
And that so for me, there's a ton of thought that goes into stuff like that. And as a business scales, ensuring that whatever is being communicated is the same.
Right.
like that becomes difficult too.
100%. 100%. I mean, I would always say, you know, you can kind of bend, but don't break, like the truth, right? You can bend things a little bit. And,
like, especially when the humor's obvious, like,
you know, sex, violence, humor, and beauty. Those are the sex, violence, humor, and beauty. Those are the hacks that go right to someone's brain, and you'll get their attention. You have their attention for about 5 seconds. Right?
Really?
Yeah. If you do something funny or sexy or something, you know, about desire, violence, some kind of, you know, it could be even an image that is kind of it doesn't have to be a bloody image, but just kind of some kind of frame is broken. It's a pattern break, and you'll grab someone's attention.
Like an interrupter type of thing.
Yeah. Sex, violence, humor's hard. If you can make it funny, that people appreciate that. If you can make it beautiful, people love that, but it's very difficult to do.
I see that religion and politics did not make the list.
You know, ideology, not so much. But it's like, you think of like a lot of car commercials are kind of this beautiful, they, you know, try to create this evocative, like, oh, that's so cool. Like, it's just a beautiful. And it's just, you have no idea about the car itself, right? For example, in car commercials, but they're
but it looks sweet.
Beautiful. It looks very sweet. And you get kind of pulled into it and like, oh, I could see myself driving that car. Yeah. But I don't know, kind of circle back is, you don't break the truth, but you can grab attention using sex, violence, humor, and beauty. You have someone's attention, 5 seconds, 10 seconds, but then you have to back up whatever claim that you have, right? If you're making a claim, then I got you to laugh, and then the person in front of you is going to go like, and my radar's back on. Are you full of shit? Okay, you're saying you're going to take care of these spiders in my basement. Are these spiders going to kill me? You're like, no, they're not going to kill you. But, you know, they're kind of creepy, right? You don't like them. Your guests don't like them.
Yeah.
And you don't need that in your life.
Well, and that some people think that there is no existence where you can't have spiders in your home, and I'm here to squash that.
Well, you know, I mean,
they don't know it exists though, right? So,
yeah.
like, what about that part where there is a reality? Like, for instance, people grew up in a cabin way up north or something. They got a broom going downstairs to the cellar that they use to knock all the spider webs as they go down, like that type of spiders.
Yeah.
So they moved to the Twin Cities, and now they have a house, and so there's less spiders, and they're happy with that, but they're still there, and there's even more progress that they can make, right? So there's like levels to it, right?
Yeah.
And so from educating a customer around that, like if there's like 1,000 spiders, I don't want 1,000 spiders. That's easy. I'm going to call pest control. If there's like 5 or 6, it's like, I'm going to get a tissue. I'm going to squish these guys and get them out of there, right?
Yep.
So, but if you have to do that every week, every 2 weeks,
thank you.
And they're still, but they don't know that if you get on a program, you can actually have something where that doesn't happen. Like, they don't even know that's a reality.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
And same thing with mosquitoes for us. Like, until people really have an experience where they're out at somebody's yard or a wedding or whatever, and there's been a mosquito treatment, they don't really know that you can be outside and not get absolutely dominated by mosquitoes at a bonfire. So like, what about like that type of bridging, that like the unaware gap? Like, they just don't know. So if they're like, how is there an intent to search for?
I mean, I would just, use my own house as an example. Like, the rule is, hey, creatures of the world, you are free to live. I'm all for you. But if you come in the house, if you're in the house, then there's a system of justice here that starts happening. And it just, it depends. If there, to your point, if there was messaging that was like, hey, are the rules of, I don't know, is the spider rule in your house being, I don't know, transgressed or something? I don't know. Being broken? Whatever. I'm assuming other people have I'd be a good customer discovery conversation. Like I have rules, right? Everybody knows there's a rule in the house, informed by everybody in the house, including my wife and all that. And it's like, if I'm feeling good on a good day in summer and there's a spider and I can kind of pick them up with a tissue and throw them outside, I will do it. That's fine. If there's guests coming and the downstairs space where we've got a bedroom and bathroom and all that is looking really like there's a lot of spiders, there's a lot of creatures, well, maybe I'll call Matt because I don't want to deal with that. I don't have time. And let's just get this taken care of because I don't want to creep out my guests.
For sure.
Right. So I think you can kind of find by talking to customers and talking to people, like, we all think about these things to a certain degree, and some people are customers and other people aren't in different situations.
So we're talking so there's the qualitative, like the specifics, like what are they saying, the emotions behind it, and like our interpretation of it, right? And then what about like a quantitative type of measurement, or like is there value in asking questions like that for people?
Yeah. If we pull it back to kind of the business model canvas and you look at the value proposition in the middle, here's a quick way to think of this value proposition. This is what I tell my students to write down. Basically, for homeowners or for blank homeowners seeking to avoid blank, whatever it is, I don't know, thousands of spiders, 2 mice, whatever it is,
taking care of these things.
Seeking to avoid. You start with the negative. What do people want to not happen, right? What is the problem they want to solve? Seeking to avoid X and to achieve Y, right? Bug-free, mouse-free, not having to go through tissues to grab spiders, whatever. Or I guess that's not the point, but it's like to increase something good, right? Okay. It should be like to avoid this 1, 2, 3, to achieve 4, 5, 6, this good thing, and this good thing. Our company provides ABC, organic or constant, in your case, non-intrusive pest control means, unlike our competitors who do it this way, blah, 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 and allow you to achieve something, I say aspirational, kind of not bothered by the little stuff, the little pests for the next 10 years. Something you're like, oh, that'd be great. So seek to avoid, look to achieve. We uniquely do it this way, unlike our competitors who do it that way. And then you can have this aspirational thing that happens, right? Let's say like a wedding in the backyard, like a pest-free wedding that you didn't have to think about dealing with all that stuff yourself. So avoid the wedding bug attack.
So as you're
achieve, vows that nobody's slapping their arms. We do it in a organic way, and you can just call us, unlike the other guys who use napalm and will just come in once every 6 months or whatever. And you'll have the wedding of your dreams, right? And you can do that with every business.
You're like painting a picture for... So as you're talking through that, it like turns into marketing language really quickly.
Yeah. I mean,
because it's
just
connecting
simple.
with emotion, right? It's powerful.
Yeah. And you can put numbers in there too. You can say, whatever for your, 50 acre looking to achieve, avoid kind of bug-free or fly-free 50 acres, up to 50 acres, hobby farm, and achieve, horses that aren't losing their minds because they're dealing with flies all day. I mean, you can, whatever. It's a simple structure.
But understanding that person at the end, who they are, what's important to them, allows you to kind of work it back to all of these different things, right?
Yeah. I mean, bottom line, if you're starting up a business and you need to center your customer, a lot I mean, it kills me, but a lot of startup people, it drives me crazy. They fall in love with their product, right? Or their company or their idea, which is fine. And it becomes their baby. And it's like, your baby's beautiful to you, but I'm the customer. And to me, it's just a baby. Might even be an ugly baby.
Yeah.
I don't care. I'm not going to buy it,
Well,
right?
so-
You have to think about your customer. So the value proposition sits in the middle and says, hey, it's about the customer. It's not about you. It's about the customer. Get out of your head.
Customer.
Think about the customer.
So how do you, like, what are some, because I've talked to people and I've been guilty of this myself, like forgetting that the customer doesn't think the way we think, whether it, and I talk about this with my team members even, like, especially around price, like how a customer we have on Lake Minnetonka views price versus how you as an Abracadabra team member view price are two very, very different things, right? So if we're putting our perspective into that, it corrupts it. And that's after we've built all these processes, all the messaging. If my team member now brings their personal experience into it, that can kind of disrupt that whole feeling.
Yep.
So,
and that's normal. And I mean, so I'm not, I would absolutely never say like, hey, your baby, you're in love with your baby in a weird way, right? I wouldn't say that because you have to be. You have to be.
Yeah.
If you're someone who's starting a business, I mean, you have to kind of love it.
And it
you
can't
do.
It doesn't always make sense.
And it doesn't make sense
to other people.
And so it's totally fine. But, you also have to stretch a little bit. It's sometimes very hard for founders to do that. It's sometimes easier for people in your company to go like, hey, well, Matt, I mean, I know that's the way you do it. And I know I'm an employee here. So the power differential is different. But I'm telling you, this guy in Minnetonka, he doesn't care. He'll pay us $5,000 to come to his house every month, not 50. He doesn't care about money.
That's unethical.
But what I'm saying, you understand what I'm saying is that sometimes people who are a little removed from your business, or if they're employees and they've got, what's called, it's sometimes called fancy academic word. Can I do a fancy academic word?
That's why we brought you on here.
It's called subjugated knowledge.
Subjugated.
It's that people further from the power center in a business have knowledge, but it's subjugated. You know what I mean? By subjugated, it's like dominated, right? And they don't share it. They're afraid to share it because of the power differential. If they have something that disagrees with the person in the center, even you might be the greatest guy on the planet, it's a power differential. So if you kind of open up, that like, hey, I know you guys know stuff that I don't know that's happening in the business, and I value it. And I know there's a difference. I'm the boss, and you guys are working here, right? I want you to let you know, and here's the way you can do it, to say, here's the anonymous tip on really what you're seeing out there. And you can just write it and stick it in this box. And if there's 10 of these at the end of the week, we're going to lunch. You don't have to put your name on there. But I just wanted to start that conversation because I know you guys know stuff.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Those kind of things to kind of start
So how do you
dealing with that? Because it never really quite goes away.
So I'm thinking about this, like, how do I help my leaders develop that type of connection with their team members and like talking about those things? Because like we're to the point where we've hired a few people in the last couple weeks. I haven't had the opportunity to meet them yet, right? So if it's all coming from me or another entrepreneur out there and they're growing their team, now you got to pass that down to your team and kind of make sure that you're training those things. Right. And you're creating really like processes and systems around it almost. Yeah.
Well, if it comes from leadership, that's key. Like, hi, I'm the boss. I'm Matt. Your team leads so. They're going to do this anonymous tip thing. And if everybody fills it out and we just get some stuff, just do your best about things that you know that maybe differ from the way we see things or are new, or you have new eyes coming into the company and here's something you see that doesn't quite make sense, just write it down anonymously, stick it in this box, and if there are 10 of them by the end of the week, we're going to lunch. I'm buying lunch. Cool.
We're going to do that.
So it's substantial, it's a real thing, and and then, see how that goes. Do something practical.
It's fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. We're kind of getting to time here. Is there anything extra you want to add here on the business model canvas? Again, really easy to find. I think we're going to have to come back and talk about a few of these other items a little bit more detail.
Yeah.
I bet you could talk about some of these questions for an entire podcast.
Yeah. Well, I would say, again, the reminder is really think of it in 3 sections. Right side is your customers. Left side is your business. Down the middle, this value proposition.
Hey, thanks for tuning into the Homegrown Hustle. It's been an honor to share the stories of local legends who make our community thrive. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review. Please stay tuned for more insight and inspiration. We got a lot of heat in the chamber. This is Matthew Eickman saying peace out until next time. Get hustling.